Alright, welcome back to the third episode of my self-expanding factory tutorial. And as you may see, lots of things have changed again. I've basically redone the whole thing, including all the things that I talked about last time, so I'm gonna try and quickly go over them. And the main thing I want to explain today is how to deal with water successfully, hopefully. I think I've managed. There's some weird edge cases it seems that I might have to take care of, but let's get right into it, I think. Um, I have made one crucial change that's wasn't really a lot of work, but I think it's working really great and it's simplifying a lot of things, and that is, if you remember, I have these, not in this case, but usually I have these two different Roboport networks, the global one and the local one. This one's connected because that's the home cell, but usually the inner part is uncoupled. And this always leads to problems because I have these overlapping construction ranges, and so global robots will come in and do jobs that they aren't supposed to do and stuff. So what I'm doing now is I have introduced two phases, and phase one will have all the robots take, or phase A means all the robots will be taken out from the global network, so there's going to be zero in there, so they can't do anything they're not supposed to. And phase B just means they're being put back in. And the reason I'm handling the way I'm handling this is I'm just using the things I have from the ring building mechanism here, and I'm saying if the dot signal, which is the actual number of cells that has been built, is equal to m, which is the number of cells that's supposed to be built, I'm going to output an A if also all the bots are inactive. So this waits until the cells have been built and all the bots have calmed down. And I might have to introduce some additional conditions here once I actually start making materials, like make sure there is still landfill available, for example. This is just going to ensure that bots aren't simply inactive because they've run out of stuff, but because they're actually done. So number of cells is right and bots are inactive means all the bots will be taken out from the roboports, and number of cells is unequal to the supposed number of cells, that means B will be activated. So yeah, this little thing just makes sure that I won't have to worry about global construction bots anymore, because they will be gone once the whole individual cell analysis starts. Because if I look here, I introduced this condition here, so this train will only start when there's no more construction bots in the global network. So this means I will hopefully have strictly divided situations where in situation A there's only going to be analysis of individual cells, and in situation B there's only going to be the global ring building, and the two won't interfere. Okay, so that's the one main change that I've made. The other main change is the more visible one, which is instead of having this train spike that I had before here, I have this horizontal one, which the only real reason is I can fit a lot more train wagons in there, and I'm gonna need a lot of landfill for what I'm doing. So yeah, that's the main reason why I've changed it like this. And at the same time, I've completely rewritten the whole logic about cycling through blueprints, and I think I'm just gonna show the way I'm doing this now down here. That's the old way, which was train comes in, lays down some miners, and then decides whether to build the mining cell or the non-mining cell. That's the stuff I explained in great detail in tutorial 2, so maybe check that out if you haven't seen it. And down here, that's the testing grounds. Here's the new one. So you can see it starts with dealing with water, and I've included this whole landfill grid thing in the middle in the new blueprint. And yeah, I'm gonna explain this in a bit more detail, but I think I'm gonna go through what happens when the train comes in first. And so the first thing is it places these pumps, and then it checks whether enough pumps have been placed. Then it's going to build a water cell like this, which just connects all the pumps and has these 4 water stations here. You see it in map view. Yeah, so it has these 4 stations in here that will only activate if there's enough water in there as well. And if there's not enough, if there's not enough pumps that could be placed, it builds this one, so it landfills it over. So that means if there's, say, a lake somewhere here, but it's not large enough, I think the limit I set is something like 70 pumps. So that's quite a lot, but that's just going to make sure I'm not building a complete water cell for every tiny little water patch that is there. So say there's something like this here, full of water, it's going to place some pumps, then realize it's not enough, and then just landfill the whole thing over, which just ensures that I can build something else. Okay, so when this happens, nothing is in this direction. When this happens, it's going to go basically through the same miner thing. So it's going to place miners once no water has been found. And then if enough miners have been placed, it's going to place this mining cell. I redid this a bit because I had to fit in the rails, but nothing much has changed, to be honest. And if not enough miners have been found so far, I'm just placing this as a placeholder. Yeah, that's basically it on the surface of it. But the whole logic of how I'm cycling through these blueprints has changed significantly, because I realized that instead of building, say, look here, I have, how many are these? Like 10, 12 combinators in here, only to deal with these 4 blueprints or 5 blueprints, and that's no 4. That would become really annoying with all these. So what I did instead is I have this fixed amount of combinators here, and I'm just pasting over them. So every new blueprint includes new settings for these combinators that basically run or will take it to the next step. It's really convoluted to set up, and you really have to keep tabs of what you're doing and what belongs where, because I got confused too many times in this, which by the way is why I could never do something like this live, because it just takes hours and hours of me staring into the air and thinking about how to do stuff. So yeah, I think I'm gonna quickly run through this. I don't think it's gonna be in as much detail as I did last time, because that's gonna be the whole episode then. But yeah, I'll try. The thing with this fixed combinator setup and then just pasting over there's 2 issues with this. One is I can't change the connectivity, because if I have a wire here, there's no automatic way to remove the wire. So I can't just say, okay, in the next step I want this guy connected to this one and not to this one. So the topology, if you want, has to stay fixed. And the second thing is something that got me a few times. I try to show this, or yeah, I can just explain it. So if I have some signal coming in here, and say this one is putting out a bot equal to 1, and then I'm pasting over in one, there's some tick where I'm pasting new signals onto there. This is still going to be outputting construction bot equal to 1. So there can be some basically leftover signals in here that can lead to very bad things. So what I have to do is this guy basically gets all the inputs from these other 2. So yeah, maybe I should take a step back. So this guy can have some condition which has to be true for the next blueprint to be applied, and this one can have another condition. So those I can basically put in 2 independent conditions to increase the number of blueprints that I want to increase. by a certain amount. For example, if I look at the water check here, I'm doing the same thing I'm doing with mining. I have one condition as some like detect some pumps, and then another condition as detect a certain number of pumps. So what happens here is if I detect lower than that, I'm gonna output 2, and if I detect higher than that, I'm gonna output 3, because then both of these will activate. So yeah, these two I can just put in some conditions like this, and this one will be, or they will go through this one, and that's going to filter signals once more. That's to make sure that these residual signals that I was talking about don't mess up anything, because what I put in here will be something that's not fulfilled the second the blueprint is pasted. So that means whatever is left in here gets lost until this one is finished, and then the signal gets put through. It's maybe a tad confusing, but yeah, as I said, when I do this the other way around, I may end up with, say, this outputting still when I'm in this step, and then I get a multiply by 7 here or something like that, and then yeah, some wrong signals will get sent. So I think this is actually this is where I stumbled upon this, because I used to have, so if you look here, the final filter thing is construction bots being inactive, or basically, yeah, like the number of inactive construction bots being 500, which means all of them. And then when I put this here, before this I still had the same condition here. So when I pasted this over, this was still fulfilled, because the moment I'm pasting the blueprints, all the bots are inactive. So everything that's in here gets let through, and if I see here, I'm multiplying by 6, because I have to go to blueprint 6 afterwards here. So what this did was like move straight onto blueprint 6, or even worse, I think this was outputting as well, so it was moving on to blueprint 7, because in the last step both of those were active, and then the residuals of those got multiplied by 6 and 1 respectively, so I ended up with blueprint 7. So yeah, it's pretty tricky to use this pasting over trick, but it just keeps the number of combinators in check, and once you've figured it out, it works quite well. So I let this whole thing run for like, I'm not sure, 15 hours last night, and it seemed to work quite well. It did get stuck at some point, and I might get to what broke it. It was a really weird and annoying edge case, but yeah, I'll get to that later. So just quickly. So this I've already explained. This is gonna decide whether enough pumps have been placed, and if enough pumps have been placed, this is basically the where it stops. So the water cell doesn't output anything anymore, and there's this guy included, which the moment this gets placed, the blueprint gets taken out again, and the whole thing is finished. So that's a really handy thing with this, that I don't have to have some shenanigans here with another inserter here which activates at some specific time, blah blah blah, but I can just include this inserter in the blueprint that is supposed to stop the whole thing. Okay, yeah, if I don't find enough pumps, I place this kind of intermediate blueprint, I guess, and if we look here, what this does is here, that's the intermediate. First of all, it landfills the whole thing. As I said, if there's small water pockets somewhere, it's gonna fill these, and you can see there's some inserters here. So this will place a few inserters which will empty, first of all, the pumps that are in these chests, and the landfill, which is in all of those. So that will start loading the train back up again, and I can use this as an additional timer again. So yeah, I always look for conditions that aren't fulfilled the moment I place the blueprint, but will be fulfilled within, let's say, a few seconds. So if I place these inserters and just like last time, they will only activate once bots are finished. So when I place these inserters, I will have two conditions to use. First one is pumps equal to 0 once these are finished, and the second one is landfill equal to 0 in the network here once these guys are finished. So that gives me two more conditions to work with. Okay, so what happens then is this will always go straight onto this guy, which should look familiar, I hope. Actually, no. Yeah, so this will just place minors, and if I go back to my decision tree here, you can see the OR check settings here, which, again, as I said, this is the filter for this is wait until all the landfill has been loaded up. So that makes sure that just some time has passed. And then the condition is if drill larger than 0, output, I think that's 7. Yeah. And if drill larger than 750, which means I think 100, 850 are in the train, so 100 miners have been placed. Then it's going to output one more, so that's 8. And that will either go to mining, which again has this inserter and no more settings here. So this is just going to stop the whole blueprinting and empty the deployer. Or it's going to go to no mining, which up to now does the same thing. But the really nice thing about this system is I can basically go on and on and on, and say if I want to decide between power and production here, or even between maybe different production blueprints, I should still be able to like tag this on here. Okay, so that's the new cycling logic, and I think what I'm gonna do is go through it. Let's see. Yeah, there should be. I'm not sure if this is up to date. I'm just gonna use the starting point that I have here, and maybe just give it a shot. Second. Yeah, the traveling distance has become a bit far. Okay. I'm not sure if this is all good to go now, but I guess we'll see. I'm gonna crank up the speed as much as possible, because this is even more now. This is a slow process, because all the checking. Wait, I had this. Oh, never mind. All the checking for different things, and like this is gonna take some time. And also, what I'm doing at the moment is I still have infinite resources in the center here, so everything the ring builder bots build, they have to bring from the center, which will take a long time. So I mean, this is going to change once I start actually producing things, but for now the whole thing takes a bit of time. I just realized I forgot something. I'm not sure if I don't think I've explained this last time. So this is basically just, as you may see, the same ring building mechanism as here, exactly the same. The only difference is I'm increasing the ring number here by 1, so this is outputting the number that I'm currently at, and it gets increased by 1 here. So this is basically running one ring ahead, and you'll be able to see what this does once I flip it on. I think I'll just start this up. Did I forget something? I probably forgot something, but we'll see. So, yeah, it is going to take a little bit of time, and you can see the UPS really fluctuating. That's mainly because when I'm placing blueprints, when I'm like placing these large blueprints continuously, that's a real big UPS draw, and once the continuous placement is finished, it's gonna jump back up again. And what also really makes a difference is that I'm trying this on this map where all the different test locations are down there. That for some reason really takes a hit on UPS. So if I do this on a new map, which I did for the time lapse, like on a just freshly generated map without any special settings, this ran a lot faster. This like at this stage it was basically running at 20 full speed flat out. So okay, yeah, what's going on here? It's building. It's not too much new, but you can also already maybe see that it's blueprinted a bit of landfill here, and should very soon be starting to get there. Maybe turn this off. Yeah, you can see I'm running one ring ahead with roboports, power, and landfill. I think that's basically it. And of course, roboports has to include this little mechanism that I was talking about, because also in the new ports I want bots taken back out again. And yeah, you can see they're starting to landfill this weird pattern here. The reason I'm including this in the new blueprint is it's a bit annoying, because that means that the global bots have to bring a lot of landfill there, which I would like to avoid, but I can't, or that would mean that I'd have to wait for all of this to be placed before I could place the pumps, because I can't obviously place like pumps on landfilled blueprint, blueprint landfill. So yeah, it just proved easier to let the global bots do this, especially because I'm really limited in the amount of landfill that I can put into this train. So now it's at 14,000, and that's still from me thinking I would have to include this as well. So if I see here, well, I don't think you can see it now. Yeah, this should be like close to 20,000 overall, and this will be, say, 9,000, so it's around 10,000 landfill that I have to bring on the train to make sure that I can landfill everything. I mean, that's probably way overestimating things, but because the moment I have a lot of water, I'm gonna probably place this cell, but still I'd like to be sure that I don't generate some weird edge cases where I get stuck. So this train should be carrying 10,000 landfill, and I will need a lot more room on this, because I will want to include all the things that I need for production, which means I'm probably gonna have to attach maybe another wagon, and maybe have like solar panels and all that assemblers in there. Okay, so now you can see all of this has been placed, and if we take a look at the number of roboports, it goes to 0, number of construction bots, and this went a bit quick now, but it went to 0, and then the train started. And you can see it hasn't found water, now it's checking for ores. It determined that this would be enough miners. How many is this? 135, so that's fine, that's more than 100. And I mean, the downside of this is that I'm gonna have only these 4 roboports charging the robots that have to build all this. So you can see it's going fairly slowly, because even though I have 500 bots there, most of them will be charging, sorry. I might include more roboports in there, just like plop one in the middle and have 8, for example. I'm not sure about this. But once this guy's done, I would like to show the water process, but that's gonna take way too long in this, I think. So yeah, I might just go cheat a little bit and drive this forward. I'm gonna, as I did the last times, I'm gonna show a large time lapse at the end, so you can see that this is actually working in a realistic setting, or more or less working, I guess. But I think for now I'm gonna just cheat and bring the train where I want it to. 1 second. You can also maybe see how I do this testing stuff. So I'll just include this here. This should be there now. And I'll stop this guy. Wait. How is this not fulfilled? Ah, am I paused? No. Okay, this is confusing. Ah. Yeah, so now I broke it, of course. because I included this extra dot signal here, which is telling it, yeah, it doesn't know how to handle that too many rings have already been built. But that doesn't really matter in this case. I just want to show the water thing, so I can just let the train go here. Oops. Sorry, now I missed it. So it's placing the pumps, and it's realizing enough pumps have been placed, so it's placing those guys. Wait, why are the bots back? Okay, yeah, I messed everything up in the testing in this supposedly simple testing environment, because now that the number of cells was unequal to the number of supposed cells, all the global bots have been put in again. Yeah, I guess that's a nice way of showing what's going on here. Okay, so that was a bit annoying. Didn't go as smoothly as I hoped, but you can see it's placed a water cell, and it's not doing the ore checking or anything. It's satisfied. It knows what the cell is supposed to be, and it's loading everything back up. Also, something that I've changed compared to last time is I'm recycling the 500 bots that I put in here. So basically, I'm not wasting or not using any bots. I'm just temporarily putting them somewhere and then taking them back out again. Okay, I think I've actually gone through everything that I wanted to. So yeah, I think I'll hand this over to the time lapse on the real test map that I made. Actually, I can maybe talk about what went wrong there, because as I said, I let this run for a few hours, to say the least, and it got to a decent size. Yeah, I'm just gonna switch over there and see how this looks and what's gone wrong. Okay, nothing much changed on the surface, maybe except for this weird copper patch. But if I look at the map view, something has changed. It's grown, and it's grown a lot, and I think it works really well so far. So you can see all the water patches have been filled with this. Yeah, something I forgot to mention. I'm not sure if I'll do it like this, because there would be a very nice, or using this pasting over the combinators trick, I can basically have different books that go different routes. So what I could do is say, okay, I have enough pumps, I already have enough water cells like this. Say if I have more water cells, or at least as many water cells as production cells, something like that, I can say, okay, stop this and just landfill the whole thing and use it for building instead. But that's gonna require some more logic. But you can see, for example, this cell here had a little bit of water on the side, but it wasn't enough to make it worth harvesting the water. So instead it landfilled the whole thing over and made this ready for building something else. Something else to see? I wanted to see where it got stuck. The weird thing was about this, I came back to it like after it was basically in this state, but not quite finished. So I was building the last ring, and I thought, oh, this is going great. It's still running, and like I was really happy about it. And then I came back 5 minutes later and saw, okay, nothing was moving. So I basically came back the exact moment when it got stuck, which was a really weird coincidence. And it got stuck. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, first maybe the troubleshooting, how I went about this. I see the train is standing in the middle, and it's missing the t=0 condition, which means there's still bots in this network. And if I see here, construction bots is 4986 out of 4987, so there's one construction bot that's missing somewhere. And I was really puzzled by this, and I just went around using this alt, like the alt key, to turn the robots back on and off and see if I could spot it somewhere. I know it's down here somewhere. I'm not going to be able to find it. Wait. Yell if you can see it. I won't be able to hear you though. That's annoying. Did I save after I found it? No. Okay, maybe I'll just talk about what happened and not find it. Wait. That's annoying. Okay, I won't be able to find it. What happened here was... I had the situation, it's really the edge case from hell. And I was so annoyed when I saw it, because it means that I'm gonna have to do a lot more safety measures. There was a rock like this maybe. So it was just only overlapping with the roboport. And the hitbox was in another tile, but it was still overlapping. So, or it was maybe like this. And if I look at the construction ranges of these guys, the rock was outside the construction range, but still overlapping with the roboport. And yeah, as I said, edge case from hell. And this meant there's a robot being stuck trying to place the roboport, and there's no robot coming to deconstruct the rock. So yeah, that was annoying as hell, but I'll find a way around it. I mean, worst case, I can just like push the roboports one tile further out, so to have like an extra tile of overlap. So this shouldn't be too bad, but I just thought it was worth mentioning. This, I mean, in these early or kind of early stages, the thing will get stuck at some point. There's so many things that can go wrong, and yeah, that's one thing that makes it really annoying to test this, because as you can see, I mean, it got stuck after, I'm not sure, like 15 hours. Wait, I can probably look at the save file to give me a rough idea there. Like 20 hours in-game time this ran, and then it stopped because of this stupid edge case. And of course, there can be maps where this only happens after, I don't know, like 100 hours. And I want to do my best to make sure that I catch as many of these dumb, weird edge cases that I can, which is why I'm gonna have to let it run for a lot to kind of make sure that this works. Wait, I should be able to find it. I'm still a bit annoyed by this. No, it's not there. It was down here somewhere, but I should be seeing a hole in the roboport network where it is, and I'm not. Yeah, never mind. You'll have to believe me, I guess. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do is cut this out here and show the time lapse of how this was built. And yeah, I hope, as always, I hope you did learn something from this and it wasn't too convoluted and confusing. I know I didn't go through all the different combinator settings in this much detail, but again, I'm gonna upload a save file, and of course, yeah, feel free to ask questions if something remained unclear. Alright, thanks for watching and see you next time. Okay, I did find it. I just had to turn off the recording, of course. There we go. There's the guy. Isn't this annoying? you.